The Oklahoma Sooners, they get another one.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Sooner Nation? Welcome to a special edition of Locked On Sooners. Thank you for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. We're free and available on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to let you know when new episodes drop. Shout out to all the everydayers out there making Locked On Sooners their first listen every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs helps find the right people for your team faster and for free. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Terms and conditions apply. He's Jay Smith. Follow him on Twitter at Unfair Sports. I'm John Williams. Follow me on Twitter at John9Williams. And the story of the day, Floyd Boucard, 4-star prospect over at Rivals, a top 20 defensive line prospect over there as well, commits to the Oklahoma Sooners. And Jay, this is a huge commitment for Oklahoma and Todd Bates.
Exactly. This is a guy that they wanted, especially because he walks in at the size that you want at defensive line. He's 6'3", about 315 pounds. And because he comes in already at the size you're looking for a defensive tackle, all you got to do is refine his body, right? Typically, when you get a guy this size, it's usually because they're an offensive lineman. No, he's a defensive lineman that's super agile. And the good thing is he's pretty raw as far as talent goes, right? He's only played football, like 2 years or something. He's Canadian, so he's played a little street hockey back in his day. And so for him to come in, move to Miami Central, and already become a threat, he doesn't do a lot of camps. So that's one reason why you don't see very many stars on him. Kind of like we talked about earlier this week. You got to go through and look at the offers. What schools actually had interest in him? And man, his track record, his list of offers, long. All the big schools that like players with his size are after him. You've got the Georgias, the Bamas, the USCs, the Missouris, the Ole Miss, the Mississippi States, right? The Penn States, the Oklahomas. All of them wanted him. The LSUs of the world, the Missouris, they all wanted this player and they all fought for him. Miami was there in the mix at the end. Bama was surging late. And somehow Oklahoma won his services. And he's one player that a lot of fans that I know that keep up recruiting desperately wanted, just because he walks in ready at that size. And all you got to do is refine his skill set and rawness. You might have yourself a winner there.
Well, as he started to trend back to Oklahoma on Wednesday night, I went back and I rewatched Floyd Boucard and some of his huddle highlight tape. And don't understand quite how he's only a 3-star according to On3 and 247 Sports, because when I look at this kid, I see the potential to be a elite defensive lineman. He can play outside at the 5 technique in 3-man fronts at defensive end. He can play inside as a nose tackle or an under tackle at the 3 technique. I mean, he is a versatile player that's got really, really good athleticism. He's got really quick feet, and he's able to get up the line of scrimmage really, really quickly. I really, really like his game. He reminds me a lot of Jaden Jackson when I watched him on film. And if you've been following this show for any length of time, if you're new to Locked On Sooners, let me tell you, Jaden Jackson was my dude in the 2024 recruiting cycle, even before he ever committed to Oklahoma. Even as he was trending towards Texas, I was crying tears because of that. But no, he flipped back to Oklahoma. So I am eagerly as excited about this commitment because Floyd Boucard does a lot of the same things that you love about Jaden Jackson. Again, elite size already for the position, elite athleticism, quickness, agility that is kind of rare for somebody that's 6'3", 315 already. So I'm really, really excited about this commitment because, again, it adds another guy that's plus 300 pounds to the interior of your defensive line. So now you're stacking dudes. Okay, going into the 2024 season, you've got Dejon Terry, Dominic Williams that are going to be your frontline starters at defensive tackle. A guy like Grayson Halton who's pushing 300, being in that rotation as well. And then the true freshmen this year who are going to be significant players for you in 2025 in David Stone and Jaden Jackson. Well, then in the 2025 cycle, you're adding a Floyd Boucard to go along with Kamari Moore and Trent Wilson. that is a really, really nice defensive tackle group that you're bringing in that recruiting cycle. And it just goes to show like Todd Bates is cooking right now. And again, as Floyd Boucard was seemingly trending towards other programs, USC, he's from Miami, and Miami is still in the mix. It's Oklahoma that wins the commitment. So any concerns about whether Oklahoma is going to be able to commit or compete with the SEC or compete in the state of Florida, compete against, big time schools out in California, it doesn't matter. Oklahoma is going to be in every big time recruitment, and they're going to win their fair share of these recruitments as well.
Yeah, and they're going after all the big boys that you need and the ones with the athleticism and the physical ability to compete in the SEC. Like, listen to these stats that this man had last year at Mobile Christian in Alabama. He had 85 tackles with 27 tackles for a loss and 11 sacks. He also played tight end and running back. Imagine all of that size running at you at running back. You know, the only other person I remember that was in like the 340 range that was playing running back? That was Vita Vea for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. When he was in high school, he was playing running back, and it wasn't fair, right? Mm-hmm. He was very nimble, strong, and was able. Lateral speed is stupid, and that's some of the things that the scouts say about Floyd Boucard. He has that natural low center of gravity, and he's very nimble with his very good lateral quickness or whatnot. He can play in a multitude of formations. 4-3 is probably his best, but you could put him probably in a 3-4 and he's going to be disruptive. That's what you're looking for when it comes to playing in the SEC. And he's definitely one that's going to be definitely SEC ready the day he walks in the door.
That's right. You watch him play in multiple scheme alignments. You watch him play in multiple responsibilities. He does a great job one gapping, meaning, hey, you're responsible for this gap. Just get through it and get upfield real quick. He does a great job doing that. He does a great job in two gaps where he's able to hold up his blocker, read what the run play is, and then make a decision, shed the block, and get into the backfield and make a play. He chases down running backs in the backfield. They might have a step on him, but he's able to chase them down. So, it's easy to get excited about a guy like this when you turn on the huddle tape. And I highly recommend any of you guys go do that because it really stands out and he really jumps off the screen. Again, don't just look at the star status, follow the offers. And if Brent Venables and Todd Bates are chasing after this dude to make him a part of their recruiting class, it means something. And he's going to be a significant player down the road for the Oklahoma Sooners. What does it mean moving forward? I mean, Oklahoma, they've got 22 commits in the class, but there's still several more guys that they're going after. Jay, any thoughts on where Oklahoma goes next? Maybe the guy that's going to commit next to OU?
Yeah, I know that you got the Christian Jones of the world at linebacker that they're really heavily in up there in Nebraska, trying to reel him in. KP Check was one that was definitely on the radar, but it looks like he's starting to lean more towards Nebraska. A couple of crystal balls or predictions came down the line over the last couple of days for him to go there. So I'm sensing he may be out on Oklahoma, unfortunately, but I know that with that being as number 22, I'm kind of surprised Oklahoma actually has a class this size. I anticipated we would stop at about 22, but it feels like we'll probably have a chance of picking up at least 3 more and getting a full class at 25, something that I was not anticipating coming through here. So I'm thinking that we're going to probably pick up another, probably try to get another defensive tackle. Or edge, at least one of the two, because the edge room is going to start getting a little thin over the next 2 years. You want to have something in the cupboard unless we decide to go back to the portal, which I'm definitely not opposed to. You grab the Caden Woolard, tells me you know how to find portal guys. I'd probably like another portal guy like that too. Or you may go back and then, of course, linebacker, you're going to probably pick up one of those as well. And then the offensive line is where we're looking at getting at least 2 guys. So you'll have, Michael Fasusi coming up at the end of August. I see Andrew Babalola is going to commit early August. So he may actually beat Fasusi. I don't see us landing Babalola, but I do see us throwing as much as possible at him to try to woo him over to the Sooners. So my anticipation is that we'll probably see Christian Jones next. I think he'll be probably the next one on the list. I sense he'll probably do his before the season starts for him. And then, of course, you'll have Michael Fasusi's, which is the one that we're hoping just comes down the line.
Yeah, that's the big offensive tackle fish that has seemingly started trending toward Oklahoma. Still a long time to go until he makes his commitment decision in the month of August. So we'll continue to follow that storyline, as well as with Christian Jones and Cade Petrick. Wherever he ends up, we'll see all of that transpire. We'll discuss it all here on Locked On Sooners. Make sure you're subscribed to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're free and available on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. So hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. Also, go check out the Locked On Sooners Insider Program, where you can Q&A with Jay and I. You can ask us questions. We'll do special Q&A sessions with you, members of the Locked On Sooners Insider Program, by texting SEC 2024 to 405-817-6711. Again, that's 405-817-6711 to become a member of the Locked On Sooners Insider Program. Again, you get 25% off that first month. Follow Jay on Twitter at Unfair Sports, myself at John 9 Williams. And again, every Locked On recruiting segment is brought to you by LinkedIn. Go to linkedin.com/LockedOnCollege to post your job for free. Go check out the Locked On Sports Today national 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. And now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now available on the free Fire TV channels app. Again, thanks so much for tuning in and being a part of the show. Until next time, he's Jay Smith. I'm John Williams. We'll catch you then. Boomer
Sooner.